If we had an honest media, what I'm about to tell you would be the biggest news story of the day. But since we don't have an honest media, most of you probably didn't even hear this story yet. So the New York Post is reporting that in Hunter Biden's emails that the Justice Department and the FBI have verified are his, they're authentic. It's not Russian disinformation like the mainstream media told everybody before the election. Louis Freeh, former director of the FBI, donated $100,000 to Joe Biden's grandchildren, to two of his grandchildren. And the media, of course, if they even talk about it, will spin it and say it was a donation to the president's son who passed away, Beau. They had a foundation set up for his children. But in that email, Louis Freeh made it very clear it was a quid pro quo, because he stated that he's looking forward to working on projects with the vice president at the time, or the former vice president. So this is a definite quid pro quo. This is definitely corruption. The media is going to spin it as a donation. I'm going to call it like it is. It was a bribe. And we know Biden is a corrupt politician susceptible to bribes, and he's all in on quid pro quos. We have a video. You could go on YouTube right now and see the video where Joe Biden is bragging to the Council of Foreign Affairs that he wanted the state prosecutor that was prosecuting Burisma in the Ukraine fired. So he went over there and said, we have $1 billion in loan guarantee, but if you don't fire your state prosecutor in 6 hours, you're not getting it. And he goes on to brag and joke that the Ukrainian president was like, oh, you can't do that. You're not the president. The president guaranteed that money. And he's like, well, you want to call Barack? Go ahead. And he says, but I'm telling you, you got 6 hours. If that state prosecutor isn't fired, I'm leaving. You're not getting your $1 billion. And then Joe Biden, trying to be Mr. Cool, said, son of a bitch, that state prosecutor was fired. And everybody laughs. That state prosecutor was investigating Burisma, a natural gas company that the whole world knows was corrupt, but his son Hunter Biden was one of the executives. With no natural gas experience, his son was making millions of dollars. And then the emails that the New York Post found on that laptop computer 2 weeks before the election, Hunter tells his family he's got to split all his profits with Pops. So this was a huge story that the news suppressed, that Joe Biden got a prosecutor fired using taxpayer money, $1 billion, a quid pro quo, something that they accused Trump of doing based on an anonymous tip that he heard from an anonymous person that said he overheard Trump on a phone call with the Ukrainian president saying, find some dirt on Biden. And they claimed that he was going to withhold money, which he never did. So there was never a quid pro quo, even if he did say what this anonymous source said. So they actually impeached him for this. Biden was actually on tape bragging before the whole world that he actually did this, a quid pro quo. And the media said nothing about it. And also, in those emails, it was shown that Hunter Biden, again, no experience with finance, was part of a company that the communist Chinese government gave $1.5 billion to. And again, Hunter Biden got a huge commission, millions of dollars, and again said he had to split it with Pops. And Pops, Joe Biden, said, that's my son's business. He didn't do anything wrong. I know nothing about it. I mean, if we had honest journalism, Joe Biden would be in jail, probably. he would, he would have never been president. He would have been in jail. But instead, Twitter and Facebook locked out the New York Post, the oldest newspaper in the world, or in our country, the oldest newspaper in our country, locked them out of Twitter and Facebook until they could verify the story was true. But the Justice Department had already verified it. You see, the Justice Department had the laptop. The New York Post got the emails off the laptop, and Hunter Biden's attorney was trying to get the laptop from the Justice Department. So everyone knows these emails are true. Everyone knows they're authentic. But Twitter and Facebook wouldn't allow them to go on their social media platforms until after the election. And it was obvious, after Trump won in 2016, the CEO of Twitter came out literally with tears in his eyes, apologizing to his staff that he allowed Trump to win, and they were going to do everything in their power to stop him. And they did. Zuckerberg, they spent hundreds of millions of dollars and used their social platform to censor conservatives and to censor truth. I mean, New York Post isn't a conservative newspaper, it's just a straight newspaper. But they didn't like the story because they knew it would have hurt Joe Biden. And actually 40% of the people that voted for Joe Biden in a recent Pew survey said they never heard of the story until after the election, and it might have made a difference. So I'm telling you this to show you what a corrupt and wicked leader we have right now. Not to scare you, but to encourage you to pray, encourage you to fast, and please go to realestateforlife.org if you're buying and selling real estate, because this administration is not only corrupt and deceitful, but according to the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, not the most conservative group of bishops, the Biden administration has the most evil agenda, the most anti-Catholic agenda, the most pro-abortion agenda of any administration this country has ever seen. So you could do your small part. If you're buying or selling real estate, go to realestateforlife.org, and we can help you with everything. With the move, we have pro-life movers, we have pro-life lawyers, and of course, we have the best pro-life, pro-American realtors with a minimum of 5 years experience. Most of them, many more. The one I used, I think, had 35 years experience. So again, please, for the sake of your children and your grandchildren, go to realestateforlife.org if you're buying or selling real estate. Tell them Blue Collar Catholic sent you, and stay Catholic.